Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Can you guys go to the carpet? Because your heads are showing. Alright, so as I was saying, the first thing, like if we're looking at Unit 8 review test, we're taking a look at this number right here and we're saying to ourselves, we're working with the conversions of units and measure. So if you see 0.14, which is 14 hundredths of a meter, that's about 1/10 of a meter and a half. So then we look at eliminating some of our multiple choice answers here. At 14,000 decimeters is way more than a portion of a meter. So we eliminated that. But a decameter is how many meters?
10.
This is equal to 10 meters. And if you didn't know your conversions, what page was that on? A while back,
it's
right?
It's in the reference table.
It's in the reference table right after the review. There's
Oh, fortunately for us. So there's what page is the reference table?
S1.
S1 or
So here's your table of measures. They could have gone back here and saw that decimeter is 1/10 of a meter, which is 10 centimeters. 1 decameter is 10 meters. So remember, select a length that is equivalent to a 14 hundredths of a meter, which is less than 1 meter. This is 14 thousandths of a decameter. Now, how do you convert that? Raise your hand if you remember how to convert that. Arushi, give me the explanation. Doesn't matter.
you multiply the.
First, you have to convert to what a meter would look like. So a decameter is 10 meters. So what if we divide a decameter by 10?
Well, you could
Would that work though? Dividing decameter by a 10
Yeah.
to turn it into a meter.
Yeah.
So if I divide it by a 10, what do I do with the decimal? What do I do with the digits? I shift the digits. The decimal point never moves. The decimal point is like is our home, right? And the people move in and around the home, but they cannot move the home. So if we shift the digits, we're shifting the digits to a greater value of 10. If we are we multiplying the decameter by 10 or dividing the decameter by 10?
Multiplying.
Multiplying. I just realized that because we're trying to create a greater value because
We're going down.
wait, are we multiplying or are we dividing? Gets tricky.
Multiplying.
Yeah, we're multiplying.
Why are we?
We got the 10 meters in the decameter.
Oh, because a decameter is bigger than
A decameter is bigger than a meter, and in order to get to a smaller unit, you need more units. So in order to do that, you have to multiply the decameter by 10, which moves it to 0.14. Because all the digits shifted toward the left, then they created greater value. And so actually E is the answer. One answer. One answer. And the other possibility is this one. Hectometer is one. If you look over here, a hectometer is what? 100 meters. So we are multiplying hectometer by 100 to make these hectometers. Okay, because we need a greater value of meters because meters is a smaller unit, right? So hectometer times 100 would equal the conversion to the meter. Do we understand that? Okay, because we need a greater value of meters because meter is a smaller unit. So hectometer times 100 would do what to the digits? Shift them to the left or to the right of the decimal point? Toward the left. Remember we learned this. Okay, so how many digits to the left? Shift how many digits to the left of the decimal point? 2 digits. And then that would bring it to 0.14. You remember that? And is that equivalent to 0.14 meters? Yes, it is. So you got to highlight that one. All right, the next one. 140 kilometers is way more than a fraction of a meter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So we eliminate that immediately. A smaller portion of a millimeter?
No.
Is that going to be equivalent to a... No, it's like even tinier than a meter. That's like a portion of a millimeter is way smaller than a portion of a meter. So let's get rid of that. 14 centimeters. Is 14 centimeters the same as? Yeah, it is. What's the actual conversion? Could you explain it to me? Who would like to explain it to me? Go. What's your nickname? Say, I'm Nick. Because I don't remember all your nicknames yet. Huh?
Or the origamist for C of 14 centimeters.
Ordeodamus?
Origami.
The origamist. Oh, because he likes origami. All right, what is it?
14 centimeters.
Okay,
So you know that 100 centimeters are in a meter. So if you multiply 0.14 meters by 100, you would get 14. So you know the conversion of this word.
Okay, so 0.14 times 100 will give us the conversion to the smaller unit of centimeters, and that would mean we shift the decimals twice in this direction,
The digits.
or the digits 2 times to the left of the decimal point to create greater value. And so that also is. Raise your hand if you didn't get this one correct, because you missed one. Quite a few people. Are you going to miss it again?
No.
Now remember, if you're trying to convert to a smaller unit, you have to multiply, because there's a lot more of that smaller unit. If you're converting from a smaller unit to a larger unit, how does that work? You guys remember?
Oh.
Yes.
You multiply and the number should be larger.
The,
Bigger.
if I need to convert to a larger unit, then there's less of that unit.
Yeah.
Divide.
So then you'd have to divide. So if I was going centimeters to meters, you start from smaller to a larger unit and you're trying to convert to the larger unit. All right, they'll probably see something like that later on. You said number 2 also needs to be looked at? You said number 2 also needs to be looked at? Julian is making barbecue sauce that he will put into jars. He uses 15 cups of tomato sauce, 6 cups of white vinegar, half cup of honey, and half cup of maple syrup. How many quart jars can he fill? How many pint jars can he fill with any leftover sauce? This has a tricky portion to it. It's that conversion to pint. Now first, I never really did this with you guys, but I need to do this. And there's probably a better way of doing this, but I know that if this is a gallon box, how many quarts go into a gallon box?
4.
So this is a quart. And then for every quart can be split into what?
2
Pints.
4 cups.
2 pints.
2 pints.
Okay, so one thing you could do with the gallon box is if you look at it like this and you split it up, a pint is 1/8 of a gallon, right? And if a pint is equal to 1/8 of a gallon, then 2 of these pints will equal a what? 1 quart. Because you can see 1/4 of a gallon is a quart. 1/4 of a gallon is also 2 pints. So 1/2 of a quart is 1 pint. Okay, so half of a quart equals 1 pint. So this is what's going to happen to you. Shh. Quiet. So we have 15 cups of tomato sauce, 6 cups of white vinegar, half a cup of honey, and half a cup of maple syrup. How many quart jars can he fill? Then it says how many pint jars can be filled with leftover sauce. Got it? We always like to circle facts or underline what you have to find. So when you added the 15 plus the 6, that's 21 plus, that's 22, right? 22 cups total. If you have 22 cups total, how many cups is equal to one quart? Well, first you have to remember how many cups go into a gallon. So with cups, it's 16 cups to a gallon, because it's 4 times 4. Do you see that? You know that, right? So if it's 16 cups for every gallon, how many cups are in what's the conversion to quarts?
4 cups.
4 cups for every quart. Okay, if there's 4 cups to every quart, just like there were 2 pints to every quart, 4 cups to every quart, what is my operation? Raise your hand if you'd like to help. Nickname? Call it. Meta-Knight?
Yeah.
Okay, Meta-Knight, explain. What's my conversion method? Because we're going from a smaller, which is cups, to a larger type unit. Smaller cups to a larger type unit, which means what are we going to do? Multiply or divide? We're going to have to divide cups to get a smaller overall number, right? Okay, so what's the division then? 22 divided by
4.
divided by 4 equals what? What was your answer?
5.
Meta-Knight.
2.
Louder.
5 remainder of 2.
5 remainder of 2, and then we have to consider 2 what? 2 out of 4, is it cups?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about cups, right? There were 4 cups, so when we're talking about 4 and the 2 here, we're relating the 2 to the 4, and we're saying 2 out of 4 cups is actually equal to what?
1 pint.
2/4. We said 2 out of 4 cups, and if 2 out of 4 cups is the same as half of a quart, then half of a quart is a pint. So the 2/4 is actually relatable to half of a quart. Half of a quart is 1 pint. So how many quart jars were filled? Everyone? 5. How many pint jars were filled? 1. Not 1/2 a pint jar, not 2 pint jars. Raise your hand if you made a mistake on this one because it was tricky. I can't believe only 3 people. Admit it. Come on. Raise your hand. Okay, so that's at least 20% of the class. Okay, the rest of you, good job if you were able to find that because that's tricky. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Something like this. Okay, you could do gallon, half gallon. A half gallon is 2 quarts. Quarts yields 2 pints, and a pint, each pint is 2 cups. So this is a nice little thing. It goes 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. We need to memorize this chart. So everybody, copy this into your book. It's a little bit better than having to draw 4 little things like this. So thank you for helping out with that. What's your nickname? Mac and Cheese just helped with that. So why don't we just draw that if you have any extra space on this page so that you can practice this. In fact, why don't we do this on binder paper? Bees hand this out and then I'll allow you to use this during your test. Your quick, not your test, your quick quiz. Then you're gonna have to memorize this chart. Okay, so binder paper. Just do this quickly. Yes. Or if you have a different way of showing it, please show me your other graphic organizer. There's I'm sure another way to doing this.
Oh my gosh. There's a thing called
One big.
All right, why don't you show it? Okay, there's this version, which is very simple because you could go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 16. There's another version that somebody's going to show us. Show it quick. What's your nickname?
Pegasus.
Pegasus is going to show us. Yeah. Say it while you're drawing it.
Okay, so there's 1 gallon, 4 quarts in a gallon. There's 2 pints in every quart. And then there's 2 cups in every pint.
Okay, and typically you don't have to remember the half gallon one, so it's not a measure that's used very often unless, I don't even know when it's used. Even buying milk, they don't. Do they have half gallon?
Yeah.
Or they have quart?
Half gallon.
Half gallon.
And quarts.
Okay, typically only in milk. Yeah.
And then if you draw big enough inside every cup, you can draw 8 fluid ounces.
8 fluid ounces.
Yeah.
All right, so this is an easier mnemonic. If you want to just do it this way, this is another way to remember it. So I'm gonna have to do this because like every year I just kind of like don't remember this. This is just a G with 4 Qs. 4 Qs have 2 P's each, and I just drew it too tiny. And each P has 2 C's, which means if each P has 2 C's, then each Q has what?
4 C's.
4 C's, and if yeah, you get it.
2 C's. Each P has 2 C's.
Each P has 2 C's, but each Q has 4 C's.
Yeah.
And each G has 16 C's because you have to add the 4 plus the 4 plus the 4 plus the 4. And here's another person's version. Is this easy for you? Is this version easy for you? It's good to see multiple versions of the same idea.
Now it has
So
fractions.
1 to 1/4 gallon to 1/8 gallon to 1/16 gallon. And this simplifies it if you want to look at it in the fractional form. Then you just know that you have to go 16 goes in 1 gallon, but 2 goes in a pint, and 4 cups go in a quart. This is an easy way of doing it too. I like this visual. And this is the Padawan. You don't have to draw as much as by doing it this way. So this is a good way if you like to do it that way. This one simplifies it, makes it more efficient. And this one is just a nice little graphic. This is your gallon guy. But this is a really weird looking guy then in that case. And I really typically don't appreciate stick figures. But, you know, if you really want to call him a guy, then he would be really ugly. He would be a guy crossed between an insect with 8 eyes, and each eye has a bunch of weird stuff in it. It's like a freaky alien or something. I remember my son used to draw, or one of my kids used to draw people like this when they were first learning how to draw. So that's the body of what a little toddler might draw. All right, so we're done with that. Moving on. Number 6 and number 7. I think I've done enough of this. Have I done enough videoing?
Yeah.
Oh, but this is a fun one.
Unless it gets like an hour long.
Yeah, it's going to be an hour long.